Okay, good morning, everyone. First of all, on behalf of Chief Walls, Chief Mueller, Chief Conn, I want to thank everyone for your attention this morning as we introduce the department's rebranding campaign. Colerain Fire Department is more than just a fire department. In my opinion, it's an icon locally, regionally, and in some cases nationally, which is to say that over the years it has come to stand for being a department that is proactive, innovative, a leader in the firefighting profession, and one that has produced a number of successful firefighting professionals that are considered masters of their craft. Over the past 2 to 3 years, this fire department has experienced a significant amount of change in those that hold leadership positions. With these changes come different philosophies, ways of conducting business.
That's everybody.
Okay.
I'm here, Chief.
Anyway, this change has also significantly expanded and enhanced the types of services that we provide to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of the township. Conversely, these changes have also challenged us on a number of fronts as a department and as individuals. Many of these changes can be contributed to the changing requirements of the community, while many can also be contributed to the vision of those who work within this department. When I was appointed chief in January of 2015, I assumed the responsibility of leading this department through a considerable amount of change and project my vision to not only benefit this community, but the department and each individual employed within it. One of the methods this has been demonstrated is through the development of the department's strategic plan, which is the roadmap that has been prepared to guide this department through 2020. Our current organizational mission is nearly 30 years old. I believe the mission of this department since 1975 has been to provide the highest quality services with whatever resources we have or had available to us. We continue to demonstrate this every day and every night whenever any of our services are requested or required. However, I'm of the opinion that our current mission statement has outlived its useful life and it doesn't accurately describe what we do today. During August of 2016, Battalion Chief Steve Conn took on the challenge of rebranding this fire department. He assembled a team of dedicated individuals that has collaboratively worked to revise and produce a recognizable, unique, and sustainable brand that reflects who we are, what we do as an organization now and into the foreseeable future. In my view, the essence of who we are lies in the business of providing public safety, especially fire protection, emergency medical services, and community risk reduction services, and any type of service that falls in between any of those. This is the engine that drives the train, and everything we do as a fire department basically flows from those. You will note that I refer to public safety work as a business. Whatever else it may be, it will always be that as well. A business that needs to be run and services provided on a sound basis by people who are sensitive and sensible in their decisions. So it's easy to make those decisions once you know what your values are. So what is brand or branding as it relates to fire department? The brand of Colerain Township Fire and EMS is much more than our name, logo, and the services we provide. It is what others think, share, and feel about the organization. It is the impression people have of our work that influences their responses to every message sent, action undertaken, and project supported by this organization. The well-known phrase, perception is reality, may best describe this concept. There are two very important and possible conflicting realities at play here because there are two different perspectives. First, we may try to control the way others view our organization by what we say or what we do based on our definition of what reality and how we strive to benefit others. Secondly, by comparison, others will perceive us by how they interpret and accept what we really do based on their past experience and the current situation. We cannot control what others perceive of us, just as we cannot control what they believe. When Chief Conn and his team set out to develop a brand, their task was to try to influence the perception of others. Before I close and turn this campaign introduction over to Chief Conn, I want to say that the effectiveness of our new brand will soon be in the hands of every employee of this department. Our name already means something to our customers. It is my expectation as the fire chief of this department that each of you become very intimate with each element of this branding campaign. Lastly, I encourage each of you to continue our trajectory of providing high quality services and collective and individual success. Your future and our future as an organization depend on many things, but mostly of each of you. Thank you. Chief Conn.
Thank you, Chief Cook. It looks like we may have lost station 26. Are they still on? I can't tell if there's another.
There's three of us, but we're here.
Okay, just three of us. Okay, there we go. So, first of all, Chief Cook made a couple statements there that I want to just sort of expand on a little bit as we get started here. He talks about being a branding campaign. This was it was a branding campaign, and a branding campaign is it's a big umbrella term, and it has several different components. When a lot of people think about a brand, they think of a logo or something like that. You're not going to see a new logo here today. What you're going to do is you're going to see the framework for a new mindset that will lead us to developing a logo that's all inclusive, that people will have input on, that we will be able to present at a later time. So in order to get to that point, we had to start working backwards. When you look at branding campaigns for some major organizations like Children's Hospital just spent $6 million on a new, everyone said it was a new logo. They spent $6 million to develop a rainbow colored logo of a parent holding a child. That was just such a small component. It was such a huge campaign of interviews, finding out what values are, finding out about their mission and reiterating all that and getting everybody engaged. And then they rolled out the logo at a later time. So it's all part of that whole campaign. And that's what we're dealing with here, or that's what we're going for here. We don't have quite a $6 million budget, just shy of that for the campaign. But what we're going to try and do is we're going to present a framework to start building this campaign and building this this mindset in each one of us. So like Chief Cook said, my group was tasked with a few things to begin with. And one of those was to create or implement an ISO Class 1 logo. We did that. So you're going to start seeing that. You probably have already seen that on some of the vehicles, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. We talked about adopting and incorporating a tagline. So it's just a real quick blurb of fully involved, fully engaged. It's action oriented. It's supposed to incite some type of emotion and instill emotion in people to get moving. And it's just a tagline. So we were talking about incorporating that into what we do. We were tasked with inspiring a living, values-based organization, an organization that lives, that breathes, that eats and sleeps within this values framework. We have a set of declared values. We have a mission that's been declared, and we're going to talk about all that. We're going to review, and then we revise the mission statement. We looked at our mission statement and said it's 30 years old. We probably need to update since it's older than most of the people in the department. And then hopefully a corollary off to the side of this will be, increase in station morale. And as we progress through this branding campaign, we will eventually get to the point where each one of our stations is going to be named after something to do with that neighborhood or that location in the township. So it's a whole and all-encompassing campaign. It's just more than just developing a logo. I want to recognize the guys and girls that we had involved with this, in addition to everybody else on the crews. We basically broke down into 2 different groups. I had people that were full-time, part-time, officers, firefighters. We had across all unit days, and plus multiple discussions with people on different stations, especially with me being on light duty. I've been able to talk to lots and lots of people just to get input on different things. So the hard part, as anybody knows, is trying to put together some type of a committee here and a group across that many people. It's difficult to get everybody there all at one time. So, we're talking basically 6 different unit days here that we had to try and coordinate to try and get information back and forth. So, what would happen is as we met, I would take the information and I would collect it, aggregate everything together, and then push it out to, get everybody's consensus and had input from people. So I want to thank everybody here for helping. And I think what you'll look at when you look at the names on here is you're going to see people with all different various types of backgrounds, not only just their experience levels within the township or within the fire service, but also we have people with degrees in marketing. That's kind of a big deal. And we'll talk a little bit about that as I continue to go through. So I want to introduce this concept of an MVP organization. Before you ask what an MVP organization is, let me set it up a little bit more. Somebody asked right off the bat yesterday, well, what's that mean? Don't burst my bubble. Let me get to it. I'll get to it. An MVP, it's a philosophy we want that to become our driving philosophy at the heart of all of our decision making. This should be at the heart of all of our relationships. Basically, everyone on the department's an MVP, and you can say it's a most valuable player. And yeah, we consider everybody in the organization a most valuable player as we implement our mission and guide ourselves by our values and our visions. So we're an MVP organization, and that simply is an organization that's driven by its mission, values, and pride. So we're going to take a look at each one of these things, our mission, values, and pride. What this is going to do is you look at an organization that's driven by its mission and values and pride. It's meant to engage the emotional energy of frontline members, the people on the ground doing the work. We need to harness their collective energy and enthusiasm. And when we do that as a team, we build that collective pride and mutual trust. We want to really embrace our legacy and our organizational past. We're not 200 years old like Cincinnati Fire Department, but we're not young in terms of the full organization. Yeah, we were organized in the 70s when we were combined with Dunlap and Groesbeck, but what about those 2 departments? How far back did they go? And it's kind of a neat thing when you start looking back at our history and how we have progressed up and become the leader in the town, in the county for training. Obviously, numbers of runs. We're obviously the leader in that, but people want to work here because of the amount and the diversity of runs that we have. So, we want to embrace that and get back to that, because obviously, and we'll discuss some of the challenges we've had lately. We want to articulate and demonstrate our shared values. We want everybody to understand what our values are and have that part of their daily discussions. Have one of the words of our values sort of come up somewhere through the day in your discussions. And this just fosters that three musketeer mentality. We're all individuals, but we all have to work together for the good of the organization, and the organization will work. And as the organization works and improves, each individual will improve also. So it's all one for all and all for one mentality. So I have a slide here. Don't worry about reading all this, but there's basically 5 different paths that organizations can take to try and harness that emotional energy from its workers. So breaking them down, there's one called the process and metrics path. This is for organizations that rely on numbers, bean counters. There's all the different, charts and graphs, and they're collecting data. We're not really we are a data-driven industry per se, but it's hard to compare ourselves to other places. we may track things differently than Cincinnati or Springfield Township or Hamilton or somebody else. So we provide our services based on the numbers that we're getting and our feedback from our citizens. But it's really hard to say that we're in competition with these other kinds of companies that deal with large volumes of numbers and budgets like that. We are definitely not an entrepreneurial type of organization. No one here is going to get rich off of developing some type of a new concept or a new product. So we're definitely not entrepreneurial. Individual achievement, we definitely want to acknowledge individual achievement, but we don't run our organization off of individual achievements. This doesn't foster that teamwork mentality. We want to work as teams. And you'll see some of that with Chief Cook's new initiative that we have started over the past year or so on unit citations. You know, we have a unit that shows up on a scene and they perform maybe above and beyond what was really expected for the conditions that they responded to, or they were throwing some curveballs right off the bat, and they're being recognized. And we're being recognized in public forums. We're being recognized with plaques in the station with the units. So each unit is going to be recognized for these types of actions. And we saw that from New Year's Eve with the double entrapment on 275. The crews involved in that received unit citations, as well as the Beckridge fire with engine 103 and what they were faced with in utilizing their training and expertise. They were able to minimize the damage to that structure. So we will be doing more of the acknowledging, but we're not driven by that individual acknowledgement or individual achievement. We do work as a team. The reward celebration, you know, we're not Mary Kay. Yeah, if you ever watch Mary Kay, how their leadership teams and their managers and districts and everything, how they engage their personnel, and they are driven off the energy of their salespeople. You know, we don't have salespeople. We're not we're not driven by that, but we are driven by our mission, values, and pride. Much like the United States Marine Corps, Army, Navy, these paramilitaristic or these militaristic organizations, and it's no doubt or no coincidence that since we're paramilitaristic, we will follow right in their path. You know, we're proud of our accomplishments and our legacy. We have shared values, and we share several values that the Marine Corps and the military that they share also. So it's built off of mutual trust, pride, and discipline, self-discipline. So that's how we are organized and driven. So to roll out this MVP initiative, we're going to do it in a couple different stages. We are going to take a look at the mission statement. We're going to declare our new mission statement here today. We're going to revise that old one, and we're going to build on it. We're going to emphasize our organizational values to so again, hopefully it becomes a part of some type of daily conversation. We're going to live our new tagline, fully involved, fully engaged. We want people to feel the energy of that and to take that to the streets when they deliver their services. We want to embrace our past as an innovative department. We've done a lot of stuff here that we need to be proud of. I'll talk a little bit about that. And in doing all this, we want to definitely foster organizational and station pride. And I have a couple of different things we'll talk about with that. So why are we doing this now? Chief Cook made a comment that, you know, it's part of our strategic plan. As part of our strategic plan, the plans have to be revised every now and then. It was just recently, we're at that point where we had to take a look at it. Do things need to be updated? Do things need to be revised? And this was a perfect opportunity to incorporate these changes into our strategic plan. It's time to look to the future. You know, there's no secret. We've had some challenges recently with staffing, pension board stuff going on, people leaving the department. You know, the amount of applications and the amount of paramedics we have coming on, our run volume is increasing, demand for service is increasing. Now, there's a lot of challenges going on here. So there's a lot of things that have been distracting us lately. But this may be an opportunity to regain this sense of self and motivate our people to rise up and get through this. We've heard this time and time before that research shows that money, if we throw money at a problem or money towards people to try to motivate them, it's very, very short-lived. You have increased productivity, some outputs increased a little bit, maybe their morale increases a little bit, but then they come to expect that becomes the norm, and it's so easy for attitudes and morale and everything to drop right back, but now they're still getting paid more, they're getting that incentive. So the way that we really need to think about increasing our morale and facing some of these challenges is by having this sense of purpose and being engaged in the organization and really believing in what we're doing. So we're going to look at the mission statement. How many people can recite our mission statement from memory right now? I am not surprised. I've got a wedge. Anybody else? Now I can't see 26s. I'm sure everybody at 26s has their hands up. But the basic line is that when I first got hired, we were taught that mission statement. We were given business cards. We were with the mission statement on it, and we talked about it. Some people still have that business card with that mission statement on it. But somewhere along the line, it became so normal for us to talk about it, we stopped talking about it because everybody sort of knew it. And then it got normal not to talk about it, and we're not talking about it now. So, we mention it during orientation. We review it during orientation. That's probably the last time people ever hear it is during orientation. So, it's found in our strategic plan. We have a lot of people that have not read our strategic plan. It's probably a good idea to read it. A lot of good information in there. It talks about where we've been, what we've accomplished, because Chief Cook and the team they always revise it and they add how they've improved on certain areas, what they've accomplished, and then they provide some additional goals for the next year. It's a good document. It's a living document because it gets changed. It gets updated every year. So our mission statement's in there. This is our current mission statement. The mission of the Colerain Township Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services is to provide the citizens and visitors of Colerain Township with the highest quality fire prevention, fire suppression, emergency medical service, and public education with the resources available to the department. That's a lot to digest. It's very wordy. And 30 years ago, 1985-ish, this was perfect. This is what we did. And this was a good representation of what we did. This accomplishes our total overall vision. Our organizational overall vision is basically to make Colerain a safer place. This accomplishes that. And at the time, we listed our types of services that we provide. So when we were tasked for doing this, I would go around and I would ask people, what does our mission statement say? And everybody knew the first part of it, and they always knew the last part of it pretty much, with the resources available to the department. It's all that middle stuff that sort of got a little bit garbled and confused. So I sort of put together a conglomeration of basically the way it sounded when I asked people what the mission statement says. And yeah, maybe a little sarcasm in here, but basically people had an idea that there was some kind of a wordy mission statement, but the actual content sort of got lost somewhere, and how to implement this got lost. It was good, but it served us for 25 years plus, but it was time to start looking forward. So first thing, looking at a mission statement, we had to figure out, what does a mission statement say? What is it supposed to declare? And it's a written declaration of an organization's core purpose and focus that normally remains unchanged over time. That doesn't mean the mission statement remains unchanged. It means our focus and our purpose. Our focus and our purpose is still to make this place a safer place. So that purpose and focus has not changed one iota. But how we're doing that has changed, and our focus on providing different services to accomplish that vision have changed. So the terminology has changed. So we did a little bit of talking and realized that the old one was kind of wordy. I think it was 50 words or something of that nature. We took the core of the old statement because the core of the department is still the same as far as our focus. We're still focused on providing these services with what we have available, but we wanted to change some of our terminology and make it more action oriented to engage our personnel. So this is our new mission statement. It is our mission to provide first-class all-hazard response and socially responsible programs to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of Colerain Township with an engaged team of professionals that values involvement in our community. Pretty much says almost the same thing. The feel of it is a little bit different. It's a little bit updated, and there's some terminology in here that we wanted to just expand on. So let's break it down. It's our mission. We did not have to go through and say it's the Colerain Township Fire Department mission or whatever. We already know it's our mission because the title of it says Colerain Fire and EMS. First class. We wanted to let the world know that being a first class organization, it's about being first class, providing first class services with first class personnel. And oh yeah, by the way, we're also an ISO class 1. That's something to be proud of. I'll talk a little bit about that, but it's a big thing that we're able to say we're a first class or ISO class 1 organization. We provide all hazard response. The old mission statement said that we provided fire suppression, emergency medical services, and fire prevention and public education. The new terminology is all hazards because we do so much more than that. We do technical rescue, water rescue, ice rescue, motor vehicle rescue, hazmat responses, I mean, we do so much more than just fire suppression and EMS. So the new terminology is all inclusive, all hazard response. This is sort of the newest term, and you'll probably see more businesses talking about more public entities like fire departments and police departments talking about socially responsible programs. The community risk reduction terminology is still out there. But this seems a little bit more all-encompassing because it's not just reducing risk in certain areas, but it's about enhancing the quality of life for people in the area. So these suggest that we benefit pretty much the whole community. We do fire inspections and public education. We do fall prevention. I mean, some people know what our statistics are for heroin overdoses, right? You know, we do about 140, 200 or so heroin overdoses a year. How many falls do we do a year? 1,200? It's kind of a lot more, you know, so we're putting some efforts into reducing that number. That's going to increase the quality of life for the people that are involved in these falls because hopefully we can prevent them from occurring, but also helps us out in the long run also. Obviously, we have our QRT and our heroin response programs, smoke detector blitzes, community paramedicine. I just saw the other day that we are the featured, I say we, being Colerain Township's QRT program. Chief Mueller, Director Malloy, and Nan Franks are presenting a program at UC for their paramedicine program. Again, they just got back from Huntington, West Virginia on Monday, where they presented to the city of Huntington, West Virginia. This program has gained national attention. They've been all over the country talking about this. And I'm not so sure a lot of our guys know that these guys are out doing this. It's pretty exciting when you think about it. When I get phone calls from NBC News calling saying, "Hey, what's this QRT thing?" It's kind of neat. Not that I'm going on Today's Show or anything, but so it is kind of interesting. And I had a conversation last night with the Citizens Fire Academy, another thing that's a socially responsible program. We provide a little bit of oversight to our CFA. We provide a little bit of training for them when they come in. But these people are engaged in the community. They want to help out in whatever they can do to help us. They don't want to put fires out. They don't want to be slinging down on ropes and going out on water rescues. But they don't mind bringing us hot food, hot coffee. They don't mind bringing us some water. They don't mind bringing us pens and pencils or working in an EOC if we have a wide-scale disaster. This is a program that we really need to engage and really foster and and help build that up. I know that the Citizens Police Academy, they've done a pretty good job with engaging their academy personnel and some of their support functions. And I think this is another program that we can utilize in the future to help us out. This is one of those things that's a socially responsible program. I think Chief Walls put it best when he said this is basically a program that's the reason we do it is because it's just the right thing to do. That's a socially responsible program, something that's just right because it's the right thing to do. We included businesses in our mission statement now. Our old one didn't, but our businesses, we have a great relationship with our businesses. if we can, we'll utilize a local business. We printed some stuff up recently using a local printer. We'd love to keep that money here in the township. So we're utilizing our businesses. We have good relationships with our businesses, and they're just as important to our success as any resident or any visitor. So we want to include them. The engaged team portion, a little bit play on our tagline, which we'll talk about, but it values teamwork. You know, we can't do all this stuff on our own. We have to have a team. I was pretty adamant about putting the word professional in here. What is a professional? Professional is basically what distinguishes a profession from maybe a trade or a service-oriented type organization or a service-oriented type employment. A professional is basically distinguished by education, experience, different certifications, all combined into one. So the fire department is a trade. Believe me, it's a trade. It's a dirty, nasty, sweaty trade that requires professionals to do it. You know, our guys on this department have such a wide variety of education, certifications, just experiences that run the entire gamut. We have people on this department that have degrees in fine arts, degrees in business, degrees in science. You know, it takes all these things come together to provide this myriad of services that we provide, and we do it with a team of professionals that sometimes you have to get dirty and nasty. It's kind of exciting, I think. Again, values. We're going to reiterate our values every chance we get, and these are going to help drive our organization. Involvement plays off of our tagline. Again, we'll talk about that. So again, our new mission statement. It's our mission to provide first-class all-hazard response and socially responsible programs to the citizens, businesses, and visitors of Colerain Township with an engaged team of professionals that values involvement in our community. There's nothing that says community more than a community fire department. You know, you watch the old Mayberry days, and Mayberry, was it Mayberry RFD? Something like that. It had nothing to do with the fire department, but a small community has a lot of pride in their fire department. And we get that a lot. I heard that a lot last night from the CFA about the loving their community fire department. So we want to be involved. So we're bringing back something that we did 30 years ago. We printed up business cards with our mission statement on it. So we are getting business cards. Everyone's going to have business cards. They're going to be around the station. They're going to be handed out to every single new recruit. Every new hire is going to get the business card with the mission statement on the back. And you guys are going to get one today. I'll be around at the different stations. So we want people to hold on to this. We want people to see it. We want people to talk about it and hopefully engage some discussion. I'm hoping this discussion will go back to the stations and people will talk about it. There's a lot of different angles that people have taken on this. I've had a lot of feedback, all of it constructive. Some of it was good. Some of it was initially bad. I thought some people were saying my kid looked ugly. When when someone tells you your kid's kind of ugly, you sort of take a little bit defensive to it. But then the conversations turned into different perspectives on this whole program. So I thought it's really good. I'm trying to incorporate that in each day that we talk about this. So we're going to talk about organizational values. Does anybody have any questions real quick of our mission statement? I talked for 20 minutes about a 40-word mission statement, but it's that important. I think there's a lot going on in it, but it's a good representation of how we're going to accomplish that vision of making this place safer. So our organizational values. A value is just a statement of guiding principles that drives the organization's actions, and it can help define its culture. Does anybody know what's one declared value that we have for Colerain Township? If I were to go through the stations and ask a survey, I would probably get 20 to 30 different terms that out of those 20 to 30, I'm sure we would hit every single one of ours. Maybe not all of them. I think there might be one or two that might not be in there, but there's a lot of different values out there, but we have a statement declaring what our core organizational values are. And again, they're in the strategic plan. So one of them is service. And this is straight out from our strategic plan. Intentional efforts to understand the needs of others and to be of assistance. We are dedicated to providing superior customer service, and that's in everything we do. Fire, EMS, public education, public engagement, smoke detector blitzes, anything we do. We're out here hoping to provide superior customer service. And we do that as a team, so teamwork, working together towards a common goal. We bring each our own skills and experience, yet we recognize that we are better together. We support and depend on each other to achieve our goals. It's kind of a big thing. We have to work together as a team. We have to trust each other, and it's a trait of deserving confidence. If you don't have confidence and trust in your partner to do the right thing or to be able to help you out if you need help, we trust each other on EMS runs for the knowledge, and hopefully your partner will be able to pick up if you forget something, and vice versa. But also in fire scenes, we have to be able to trust our partners. We build trust through honesty, fairness, pride, and accountability. We want to make sure everybody's accountable. Mutual respect. We have to respect each other, showing due reference to the innate dignity and value of others. Everybody brings something new to the plate. Everybody brings something different to the plate, and we have to be able to recognize differences and accept differences, and everyone has value, and we want everyone to understand that they have value that they bring to this. We honor the rights and beliefs of our fellow employees, officers, elected officials, community residents, and visitors, and treat them with the highest degree of dignity, quality, equality, and trust. It's kind of a big thing. This is something that some people may not have said, growth and nurturing. It sounds, I heard someone say that it sounded like we were coddling if we said something about growth and nurturing. What this is about growth and nurturing our individual employees. We want this organization to continue to grow, and we grow through the growth of our personnel. We want to nurture their education, their training. We want people to look at different trainings that they can do, and then we want them to bring it back to the stations and teach our guys. It's the continued development of an organization and its people. We promote an atmosphere that encourages individual growth through those different programs, trainings, and education, but through their participation, creativity, and acknowledge the achievements of our employees. Like I said, you're seeing that more with our unit citations, and you're probably going to see more stuff coming as part of the recognition programs that Chief Cook is going to be implementing. Unit citation ribbons that will go on your Class A uniform. Different citations that you might receive, you're going to be able to wear on your Class A uniform to show that you're involved, you're doing more, you're acting above and beyond above and beyond just making the runs. And those things have to be acknowledged, and Chief Cook has recognized that and wants to acknowledge those types of actions that go above and beyond. So those are 5 core values, and there's a lot of other values. It takes courage. We have to have a little bit of courage to go out there and do this job, to face the fear and challenges with confidence and resolution. It takes a little bit of courage and bravery to go out there on the highway in the snow, block off roads, and take care of somebody out there knowing you could get hit. Go into a fire where you can go through a floor or through a roof or whatever, or get burned. It takes commitment to do that. We want each other to be bound to each other emotionally and intellectually, to take a course of action that's beneficial to each and to the community. We want people to have compassion. We're making runs on people. Nobody ever called the fire department because they're having a great day, with the exception of one possible reason, and that's to have a baby. To me, that's absolutely poor planning. But anyway, we know it happens. But nobody calls us to say, hey, can you come over to my house and help me because I'm having a great day? It's always at their worst, and we have to show compassion to them. I already mentioned bravery, the quality that allows someone to do things that are dangerous or frightening. That goes right hand in hand with courage. Honor, principled uprightness of character, personal integrity. That's huge. You hear people doing stuff that's outside the parameters of their job, or maybe outside the parameters of the law on their off times. We have to be able to have a certain level of accountability with integrity and honor. Integrity, strict adherence to moral values and principles. These things drive us. We're held to a little bit higher standard than the normal public. When someone gets arrested for drunk driving, they don't say plumber Steve Conn, who is a plumber, but they would say firefighter in a heartbeat, because when they hear a firefighter, police officer does something that's outside the law, that's like a jab in their side, because we're supposed to be held to a higher level of accountability. So we broke these down. There are basically 3 different types of values. And because I thought it was kind of interesting to see how each one of these values relates to another. We have those core organizational values there in red. The humanistic values in blue, those are the ones that just deal with treating each other, with some compassion, integrity. Those are your core personal type values that makes you a human. And then action oriented on the bottom in green. Those are the things that allow us, our values that allow us to go function on scenes. Courage, bravery, and honor. It's kind of a big thing. So we want these to make up our culture, and they do, but now we've just declared them. So you're going to see these again, and we encourage people to discuss them. If you see it, discuss it. Hey, what's honor mean to you? What does integrity and growth and nurture? What does that mean to you? And hopefully the officers during their shift briefings will throw one out there every day and just discuss it. When we started discussing this, I happened to go down to 26s one day on rounds, and it was on the front door of the captain's office going in 26. No prompting for me or anybody else, but I was like, that's pretty cool that somebody's thinking of them. We just want that to be brought back up to the forefront of everybody's mind. Now we've got a tagline. Who knows what a tagline is? There's a lot of taglines out there that you'll hear companies just throw something out there, and their tagline is immediately identifiable and recognizable. Can anybody name any? How about, let's see. How about just do it? Who is that? Nike? What about the ultimate driving machine? BMW? I'm loving it. McDonald's? What do you mean? Ask like a question. Everyone knows I'm loving it. Imagination at work. No, I get a lot of Google, Facebook. I heard Disney. It's GE, and I think it's kind of interesting because GE doesn't. They do everything from light bulbs to computers to jet engines. Train engines. I mean, locomotive. I just think it's crazy. Everything they do. They don't define themselves as a jet aircraft engine company. They say they make innovative products that run the myriad of everything. What about because you're worth it? Nobody's gotten this one right. And it would kind of startle me if some of you guys got it right. This is L'Oreal makeup. You almost got it. Yeah, L'Oreal makeup. Someone said it, my mom. No, it was not my mom. My mom is worth it, but that's not her tagline. Because you're worth it's L'Oreal. And these are just real quick statements that people throw out there, and they know, who they're talking about. Got milk? American Dairy. I mean, come on. It's some kind of a mantra or something intended to excite and inspire individuals and motivate them. So fully involved, fully engaged. This is something that was presented to Chief Smith in 2012. He liked it. Chief Smith was never one to, he didn't like to showboat. He did not like to be flashy. And he said, yeah, we can use it, but I just don't want it all over everything. And obviously we don't want our trucks looking like a NASCAR truck going down the street with logos and stickers and sponsors and everything on the side of it. But we think it's time now that we, because it's more the norm now where you see these types of things. Fully involved, fully engaged. There's been some critics that have said that it sounded volunteerish. Okay, but this goes back to knowing where we came from. We've not always been a career or part-time department. We have been volunteer. We were a volunteer department for a number of years, longer than we've been a part-time combination department. So we have to know where we've been. And I think it's kind of, again, it's supposed to excite and just give a little bit of a action-oriented type thing to it. So here, just because I took some, again, this is my kid being ugly type statement, where I had to prove that this was presented in 2012. So this isn't new. It's been out there, but we're going to start seeing it more and more and more. So much so, I'll get to that. Fully involved, it's a play on words. Obviously a fully involved structure fire, but we want our people to be involved with each other in the community. We want our organization to be involved in the community, and we want our community to be involved in us. We want to be totally immersed in this. It declares an inclusion in people and businesses and the community. We're engaged with our work and our mission. We have personnel here that are proud to be Colerain firefighters. I'm proud to be a Colerain firefighter. If I wasn't, I wouldn't still be here. You know, so we understand the community. We take steps to solicit input from them. We're engaged in the community, and we want our personnel to be engaged with us. We want everybody in the ranks to find something that they're passionate about within the organization and offer to help out. We're not saying volunteer your time. We're saying be involved in your in a committee or equipment, you know, something. If you see something on another department that you think might benefit us here, be involved in trying to bring that technology or bring that type of stuff to us. That's what we want from our personnel. We want everybody here to be involved and engaged in the processes that go on. So you're going to see this on all of our fire and EMS apparatus. We have it up on the sunscreen of each fire truck and ambulance, engine, ladder, rescue. I believe he's got them for the tankers, but this is going to be on everything. We've seen a lot of trucks coming out from different manufacturers with their community names on the front of them like that. We thought this would be a great location to put this tagline. Again, we didn't want to put it on the side because then we would have, let's see, our name, our logo, our ISO, or this. The next thing you know, we're putting sponsorships and all. It's a NASCAR truck going down the road. But we thought this was a neat way to keep it out there in front. And I'm hoping when we go to the store and we have our FAO sitting out there watching the truck like they're supposed to, hopefully somebody will come through and say, hey, watch that. Hopefully our guys will know what the heck they're talking about. We want people to ask. We want people, what is that? What does that mean? That leads me to ISO Class 1. You know, we were an ISO Class 1 department declared last year, sometime around July-ish, and we had a little rollout. It did gather some good attention, but this is something to be proud of. Out of 45,000 fire departments in the country, there's only 178 Class 1s. It's kind of a big deal, as Ron Burgundy would say. You know, it's kind of a big deal. We've heard people say that, oh, well, we're never going to be able to redo it. We're never going to be able to support that and get another ISO 1. Well, you know what? We have to work towards it. It's not going to just come to us. But on the other hand, if we end up going to an ISO 2, there's still a lot of pride knowing that we were one of the first ISO Class 1s. That's kind of a big deal. About 3 weeks after we rolled it out, I was at a conference up in Columbus, and I had 2 people come up to me and say, hey, way to go, Class 1. I had no idea who they were. And they were from up northern Ohio, but they knew who we were. They knew Colerain was a Class 1. Again, it's something to be proud of. And I used the idea yesterday of like the World Series champions, and I have no idea. I know that we won the World Series in 1990. I think I said 91 yesterday. I've been corrected on that. It shows you how much I know. But you know what? We still call ourselves the World Series champions. It might have been 20 years ago, or Boston still tells that they say that they were the World Series champions. So it's still something to be proud of. We've done a lot of things here that we should be proud of, and we should tell people about it. I have 2 brother-in-laws that work for Class 2 departments. It's kind of a bragging right. I get to go and say, you guys suck. We work for a Class 1. You know, I've heard people say that it really means nothing. You know, ISO Class 1s and Class 2s insurance-wise are on the same bracket. I don't know. I'm not a insurance guy. However, it's still something to brag about between other departments. You know, we're in the Midwest. We're the only ISO Class 1 in the Midwest Fire Collaborative, right? Kind of cool. So I think it's something to brag about. So there's our logo. You're going to see this logo on a lot of things. We're going to put this on all of our fire equipment, all of our EMS equipment. There's an example of it's already on some of the squads. I believe it's on engine 26. Mike Adler is working on getting these out as they come in for service. He's putting these on. They're all going to be in the locations in the back on the side panels. And again, we're hoping that this is going to stimulate conversation. So when somebody comes up and says, what is ISO Class 1? I'm hoping people can tell them what it is. I actually had a full-time person a couple months back say, we're an ISO Class 1? You know, hopefully people understand, and we want people to look into things if they don't know what it is. We want people to be fully involved and fully engaged. So we want to embrace our past. To understand who we are, we have to know where we came from. What's our history? When were we founded? Anybody know who our first fire chief was? The first fire chief of Dunlap or Groesbeck, or when did those two departments start talking to come together? You know, is that going to change the way we do business out on the pad? You know what? It's not going to change. It's not going to change the way I'm doing business today, running a fire command, because I think we run command a little bit differently back then. But it's great to know where you came from, because then you can appreciate where you are and where you can move, what the possibilities are to move forward. We have a lot to be proud of. Do all of our people know that our mall store won an international award when it was first introduced 20 years ago? Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. That was so innovative. It won an international award from the International Association of Fire Chiefs. Again, kind of a big deal, something to be proud of. I don't know other departments that have received anything like that. So engage, and know your past. How many names are on the front of our memorial at 26s? Do you know what their names are? That's our legacy. That's why we train, so we don't have to put any more names on that. That type of stuff we should know that. That should be part of our orientation. That should be part of our recruit class. They should have a class when they go run through, and they should stop. I know the Cincinnati Fire Department did that the other day. One of the first runs the fire department recruit class did was they came out of the fire college, they took a jog, and they went straight to the fire memorial, and then they had a moment of reflection, and they talked about firefighter fatalities. Got to know where you came from. Yes, sir.
Got a question for you.
Yes.
How are you able to embrace your past when you're the only senior member on that committee? I mean, most of the other people in there have less than 10 years of service. Some of them even have less than a year. I didn't see any senior members on any of those committees that formulated this whole thing. And they are the best resource with regards to not just the history, but also the culture. They were also a part of what made this place great, but I don't see them on your committee.
Yeah, I was on the committee. I think I'm a senior guy.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Well, I mean, I had that approach to me the other day too. And the only thing I can say is, we could break this down into several different demographics, but I don't know at what point in time, we had full-time, we had part-time, we had officers, we had firefighters, we had new people, we had old people, we had across all 3 unit days. I don't know what other demographics we can really start including. At some point in time, a committee starts getting a little bit too large, and we did have guys that had been there for 10 years. So at what is considered a senior person? That was, and I agree, we need a historical perspective. And like I said, I was on that committee, so I hope I fit that bill. If some people weren't invited to be on it, I couldn't invite 180 people. I apologize that I couldn't get everybody, but I tried to do as best I could to get a cross section of the department. So, I mean, I hope I answered that. I hope I answered it as well as I could, but we tried to get, and again, I've been talking to people, and and the committee people have been talking to our different members. So I would talk to somebody, I'd come back and I'd write stuff down if somebody had a comment on something. So there was input across the ages, I guess you could say. They may not have been a formal part of the committee, but they did have input informally. So yes.
And the biggest part of this, if I'm wrong, correct me, but the biggest part of this is not about the history. It's about moving forward. And those young guys are the ones that are going to be moving forward.
That's a good point. The comment was made that while knowing our past and history is important, the focus of a lot of this is to move forward. And a lot of our younger people are going to be the ones here to help us move forward. We want to acknowledge the contributions of our past members, but we're also moving forward. So I think we did a good job getting a cross section of our people and trying to take a look at all different perspectives.
I think the luncheon for tomorrow from the peers that used to work here, bringing them back to show them, this would be a perfect example to show them this is where we got to.
Right. So another comment here, if you guys can't hear, can you guys hear that? Don Ox was talking about the luncheon for tomorrow. I think I have that coming up here. Let's see. Yeah, we're doing a luncheon tomorrow with our past players, people from the 60s, 70s, 80s that were here before we were formed into an organization called Colerain Fire Department, and they were from Groesbeck and Dunlap. They were old volunteers. We have some of them guys coming back to this luncheon tomorrow. We're hoping. I was hoping for 20, 30 people. I heard someone say today they're thinking maybe 50 people. This was put on by our guys in the trenches on Unit 3 that said, this is the right thing to do. Let's call some of our old guys back and talk with them, find out about our history, but show them where we're moving. And that's why we encourage our younger guys to be here today. Moving on then, fostering station and department pride. Director Malloy, about a year or so ago, had an idea. It's not nothing innovative, but like I had said earlier, that there's nothing more community oriented than a fire department. We want our different communities that we're serving, Northbrook, Peach Grove, Pleasant Run, all these different communities. We want them to look at their local fire station and say, that's my fire station. So Director Malloy was doing some talk about, trying to find something that we could, that each station could embrace from that local community or the neighborhood, and come up with some type of a logo, some type of a station name or something like that. So the first thing we talked about was station t-shirts. We're going to be getting station t-shirts. Chief Cook's already approved station 25 and 26. We're still working out some of the logistics as far as inventory, how much inventory we're going to have, and getting them out. But it's going to be something basic. It's not going to have skulls and crossbones and flames and skeletons riding across things. It's going to say engine 25 ladder. So you have 25 on the back with engine and ladder above it. And if you happen to be on duty at station 109 at the time, you can still wear your 25 shirt. It's no different than wearing a ladder 25 hat, and you're up there at 109s. You're going to be able to wear them just like a regular summer t-shirt in the summer here. When you don't have to wear your panel shirt, you're going to be able to wear that. So that is something that's coming. You've already seen off-duty apparel. You saw the thing from Ryan Frank, he put out for St. Patrick's Day. Just something to instill some departmental pride. And I think he told me the other day he had 90 t-shirts and 25 or 30 sweatshirts ordered. That's a good start. What was nice about it was there was no collection of money. You just go on and just pay online and you're going to get your shirt. Instead of him having to go through and collect money and do all that kind of stuff, it was very easy. So we're going to start seeing more of that. We want to do the station names and station logos along with the departmental logo. And that departmental logo, again, will come as we engage people moving forward to get everybody's input. So it's going to be something that everybody can be involved with. But the neighborhood attachments to stations is key and is very important. Each station is going to be named for something from that district. Maybe it's a school, maybe it's their neighborhood, maybe it's something to do with the history of that area. So through a couple different examples down here. And this was funny because this is where some of the rumors started getting generated. We've been talking for years that Station 103 could be named for something for Peach Grove, maybe something like Guardians of the Grove. You call the station the Grove. You have a logo. I think someone suggested maybe a bulldog or something like a guardian, like a guard dog type thing. Guardians of the Grove. It's just a play on words, something to do with the Grove. We have talked about doing something with the schools. In my opinion, and I know Chief Walls and Chief Mueller share the same opinion, we would love to have the schools involved with stuff in the fire department for a couple different reasons. One being, it's a great recruiting source. We would love to have Colerain kids come on to be Colerain firefighters. That would be a great opportunity. So what we've talked about is maybe getting with these schools and having a contest between Colerain and Northwest High School. Their art departments design a cancer awareness shirt that whichever design wins, we print that shirt up. We sell that shirt at the different football games, and then it becomes bragging rights for whatever school won that year. but we're not going to have them designing all of our station logos. There was people think that they were going to design all of our stuff. No, they're not doing that. We're just talking about trying to engage our schools in some type of activity that we can show involvement in the community here. So in doing so, we thought about naming stations according to the two different high schools. 26 is something to do with Colerain High School and a bird because of the Cardinals, Colerain Cardinals. Here, something to do with Northwest Nights. It was proposed maybe Sleepless Nights with a K. And then, of course, that rolled into, as we were, and I'll take the blame for this, as we were discussing it, I was trying to get people to think outside the box, and I made a comment that, yeah, we could even call this station Camelot. This is Camelot, home of the Sleepless Nights. And next thing you know, we're naming the ladder truck Excalibur. We're putting swords on each one of our vehicles, and we're jousting on Springdale Road at noon on Sundays. People got to keep this in perspective. We want people to think outside the box, but I'm not naming each one of these stations. Individuals aren't going to name it. We're going to go to the people that work mainly at one of those stations and say, what do you guys think of this? I don't think the guys from 109s are going to name 103. 103 is not going to name 102. But that's what we want to get to eventually, and that's all part of this branding campaign. So what's next? We're going to talk about it. We're going to implement this MVP mindset. Hopefully people are going to start talking about it. We want people to get involved. We want people to realize that this is more than just a job. It is kind of important to talk about it, about our values, or about our mission. Keep that in mind. We want people to review this along with our mission statement during shift briefings. We realize that there are some communication challenges that we're facing. We're getting 20 to 30 emails a day, whether it's from staffing and shift coverage to different SOGs coming out and different coverages and all these different things. We're getting overloaded with information. So it's very easy to miss something. It's very easy to disregard something because it was buried in the 29th email that you had to read that day. So we're looking at some alternative communication devices, whether it's some type of communication program that goes through each of the stations, through the TVs or something. We're looking at something to try and improve some of this. So, and that was, again, at the suggestion of one of the members. Saw it at another station. They said, hey, why can't we do something like this from another department? So we're looking into some things. We want people to bring those types of ideas, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So this brings us to Stickergate 2017, and different logos and different stickers. I want to give a little bit of background on what the sticker means, which we're not going to call it a sticker because we called it a sticker and sent a survey out that basically said they want my family to die in a horrible fiery plane crash. We aren't calling them stickers. They're vinyl adhesive decals, thank God. So, this again turned into something more than what it was really intended. It was just intended we were just going to print up a couple stickers for people they could put it on their cars. Nothing more than like Cincinnati guys have a helmet on the back of their cars with Cincinnati Fire Department on the back. This was just something to print up. We would throw it out there. People could just put it on their cars, put it on their campers, put it wherever they wanted. This was never intended to be a big logo emblem on the side of our trucks. This was supposed to be something small, just that you could take away for yourself. We talked it over with the union leadership. The union leadership graciously said, you know what, this is something that we can probably help you out with. We have a great relationship. Administrative has a great relationship with our union leadership. And we thought that was kind of a neat opportunity to show that we are engaged with each other, and each one, the union supports what we do. And the administration supports a lot of what the union's trying to do. We have a great relationship with them. So the one that won, with the exception of the ISO, we actually have a different ISO logo, but the one that won is the red with black outline. So what we did was we printed up some stickers, vinyl adhesive decals, and we went on ahead and we put them on a bunch of Yeti cups. Now, these aren't the official Yetis. These are Schmetties or Fetties or whatever you want to call them. They're fake Yetis, faux Yetis. But when you do an initiative like this, like at Children's Hospital, their nurses and doctors and employees all walked away with, T-shirts, pens, sweatshirts, hats, coolers, cups, mugs, everything you could think of. Anything that they could put their logo on, anything to remind people of what they were just trying to accomplish with their mission and values. So spoke it over with Chief Cook, and he thought this was a great idea to offer everybody just a visual representation or a visual mind jogger that, we'll put them on a cup. When you guys grab a cup to have coffee or whatever, you're going to see the fully involved, fully engaged with the ISO, and that'll remind you of why we're here, what we do, why we do what we do. And again, it's just it's a mind jogger. So we have these cups for everybody. And inside it's another sticker, a business card with the mission and mission statement on it. Again, put that in your wallet and reflect on that. This isn't by handing these out, you now don't have pride. This isn't like the Wizard of Oz when, someone needed a brain and they gave him a dictionary or whatever. This isn't going to change everything. This is a reminder that we're trying to change. We're trying to do something good for the department. We're trying to move forward and embrace and engage everybody. So this is one of the ways we decided that we thought we could just, show commitment to everybody and give everybody a little gift and encourage their participation. I think that is it at this point. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? Is Chief Mueller at 109s?
Yes.
Oh, there he is. Okay. So Chief Mueller's there. If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to bounce those off of Chief Mueller. I'll come down to 26s later. Chief Walls, I assume he's not there. Is that correct?
He's not at 109s, correct.
He got called out of the town for a family matter. So Chief Cook is here at Station 25. If anybody has anything they can talk to him about. Other than that, thanks. I appreciate everybody's attention, and I'll be around later to hand some of these things out, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.